A Vienna-trained psychoanalyst once convinced himself he had discovered the physical form of life energy. Then he built a machine to concentrate it. Then the US government burned his books. That part usually gets skipped. Most people who've heard of Wilhelm Reich know him as a punchline, the guy with the organ box, a strange metal cabinet. It sounds like an easy story. Brilliant scientist goes off the rails, chases pseudoscience, gets what's coming to him. Case closed. But that version doesn't actually hold up once you look at the timeline. Reich wasn't a fringe figure to begin with. He trained directly under Sigmund Freud, ran a psychoanalytic clinic in Vienna, and was one of the more promising minds in that circle. He published serious clinical work. He was taken seriously by serious people. That's the part the meme version leaves out. So here's the question. How does someone go from respected clinician to a man whose research gets incinerated by federal order? Something happened in between, and it's more structural than personal. Reich's early frustration came from a real clinical problem. He noticed that some patients improved with talk therapy, and some didn't, no matter how much insight they gained. They could understand their trauma intellectually and still feel stuck in their bodies, rigid, blocked. He tried adjusting his methods. He kept running into the same wall. Insight alone wasn't releasing what he was seeing physically. Muscle tension, breathing patterns, posture. That's a legitimate observation. Therapists today still talk about the gap between cognitive understanding and somatic experience. Reich was noticing something real. The problem is what he did with it. He started developing the idea of muscular armor, that emotional repression gets physically locked into the body. But Reich kept escalating. If tension blocks emotional release, then there must be an energy being blocked. If it's measurable, it must be physical. Each step feels logical on its own. Strung together, they walk you into a claim about a universal life force he called orgone. Something he believed existed in the atmosphere, in living tissue, in weather patterns. The chain of reasoning never had an obvious break in it. This wasn't someone abandoning logic. It was someone using logic correctly, one link at a time, while the foundation quietly shifted under him. This is where the story stops being about one man's beliefs and starts being about how belief systems get built in the first place. Reich wasn't lacking discipline. He was extremely disciplined. He built devices, ran experiments, kept detailed records. The issue wasn't effort. It was what his framework counted as evidence. Once a system decides in advance what confirmation looks like, more effort only reinforces it. The real issue isn't what Reich believed. It's how a closed system can absorb any new data and still produce the same conclusion. That reframes the story. It's not really about whether Reich was a genius or a fraud. That framing is too binary to be useful anyway. It's about a structural pattern, a person operating inside a self-sealing framework where contradicting evidence gets reinterpreted as further proof. This isn't unique to Reich. It's a known pattern in the history of science, and why peer review and replication exist. Reich worked largely outside those checks for most of his later career. Without an external structure pushing back, there was nothing to interrupt the chain. He was a trained clinician who noticed something real, then built an increasingly elaborate structure around it without an outside mechanism to test it. The FDA eventually intervened over his medical claims for the orgone accumulator. The legal battle and book burning followed in 1956. How do you know when a framework you're using is still testable versus when it's quietly become something that explains everything and therefore nothing? That's not a question with a tidy answer. It's a question worth holding on to the next time a theory starts feeling unfalsifiable. Subscribe if you want more of these deeper dives into scientific history. That's the story of Wilhelm Reich, for now.